Controlling your thoughts is the ultimate discipline. If you can control your thoughts, then there's nothing in life that can get you down, because your thoughts are the reality. And so no matter what happens to you, whether it's you break your pelvis in 6 places, or you have a setback in business, or your wife leaves you for somebody else, or whatever happens, which all these things happen to us in life, is how you perceive that and move forward with it. And all that happens right here, between your ears is where it happens. And you can control that. You really can.
What was I'm just kind of curious to know a little bit more about you as a human, as a person. And like, what was your childhood like, man? I mean, what were you like growing up? I mean, were you a good kid, a bad kid? I mean, because I read people really well, and I'm just curious to know if my brain is correct, because so tell me about yourself, man.
Well, you probably wouldn't want to ask my mom, what kind of kid I was. She'd probably tell you, pretty wild growing up. But when I went to college, grew up in a small town in South Georgia. Family couldn't afford to put me through college. They put my sister through, but they said, you're on your own. So I went to University of Georgia and was in landscape architecture there, and had to figure out a way to make enough money in the summers to pay my own way through college. So met a guy in college at Athens, and he told me about selling Bibles and dictionaries door to door, and said it was pretty hard work, but if I worked hard, I could make a lot of money. So I didn't think I was much of a salesman, but he didn't seem like much of a salesman either, and he did pretty well at it. So I signed up to go do it. And they sent me that summer. I didn't have a car. I went to Claremont, New Hampshire. I went door to door, about 100 hours a week. I'd start at 8 in the morning, go to about 10 at night, doing 30 demonstrations a day, straight commission, paid all my own expenses, and made really good money my first summer. And came back and told my friends how much money I made. And they're like, well, damn, if you can do that, I'm going to go, So I took out 25 friends the next summer. We went to Oklahoma. And so by the time I finished college, I had 250 kids in my organization. And I was making a lot of money selling these books and teaching other kids how to do it. And I worked for that company. The company's been around about 180 years. They're here in Nashville, Tennessee, the oldest private company in Nashville. And back then we had 7,000 kids doing it every summer. So that's how I worked my way through college. I sold Bibles and dictionaries door to door. And,
wow.
Not only was it good financially for me, but Daniel really taught me a lot about people, but probably more than anything, taught a lot about myself, perseverance and not giving up, and setting goals and that type of thing. So I've sort of used that through my career. And I've stayed in real estate my whole life. And as an entrepreneur in real estate doing developments, you take a lot of risk, and you have your ups and your downs, and you have your challenges, and sometimes things go good, sometimes they don't, And so that background, probably doing that for that many summers in college, probably was the best thing that ever happened to me, as far as helping me still today, with my career, and both with life too.
And when you look back on your life, I mean, what's one of the biggest failures that you've had? Or I know nobody likes to call failure anymore. It's always a learning experience, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, what's one of those times where you just thought, shit, am I going to make it through? And that's where that perseverance kicked in.
Well, you always have ups and downs, and everybody does, so I'm not any different than anybody else. Now, I've had a couple accidents that having the right mindset has helped me. I had a couple of really bad accidents about 3 years ago, back to back. I had a really bad bike accident that left me with a lot of broken ribs and punctured lung, and broke my face. And as soon as I got back healed up from that, I got on one of my horses.
Wow.
I have a horse farm, Daniel, in Tennessee here, and I got on one of my horses, and beautiful Sunday, and the horse reared up and lost his balance. We both went back, and the horse landed on top of me, and it broke my pelvis in 6 places. But more importantly, it broke the 2 main arteries. So I bled out before they found me. And literally the doctors all said it was a miracle. They'd never seen anybody lose. Lost 20 liters of blood in 24 hours and literally had no blood by the time they got me to Vanderbilt. And they said it was a miracle that I lived. But I was bedridden for 3 months. I carried on my work. I carried on working out and staying fit and shape. I'd get people to hand me weights while I'm bedridden for 3 months. I couldn't get out of bed. Doctors put me back together. I downhill ski, I cross country ski, I still ride horses. Nothing's changed. So a lot of the things, I guess, from a learning process through my life, I've been able to apply to situations that we all have. We all have setbacks, and we all have injuries, and we all have things in life that put us back. But it's really your mindset going forward that allows you to overcome those issues and rebound from them and move forward in a positive direction.
So you were selling Bibles for a lot of years, man. You think God had anything to do with it?
Well, I don't, I think God has a lot to do with everything in our lives, but I think what God gives us a choice is our mental attitude in how we handle things that are given to us. God doesn't decide not to give Daniel any problems today or give any issues today. That's going to happen because that's just part of life, but it's how Daniel or Wade handles those issues and problems that's so important. And, controlling your thoughts is the ultimate discipline. If you can control your thoughts, then there's nothing in life that can get you down, because your thoughts are the reality. And so no matter what happens to you, whether it's you break your pelvis in 6 places, or you have a setback in business, or your wife leaves you for somebody else, or whatever happens, which all these things happen to us in life, is how you perceive that and move forward with it. And all that happens right here, between your ears is where it happens. And you can control that. You really can. It's hard, but you can control it. And so, I would say that, I believe in God, and I believe God has a plan for all of us, but I think that God wants us to control what happens to us on a day-to-day basis,
If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.